the point is that the woman was basically saying that she would not have married her husband if he would have asked her to have a prenup because it was like, he's basically, or they would be jinxed in a relationship by already basically planning for the divorce if, he was asking for a prenup. So, what do y'all think about that? Woman saying she wouldn't marry the man she would not have married the man if he would have asked her for a prenup.
I told you this a couple months ago. We were having the same argument. That's a impossible question, bro, to ask somebody who you love for a prenup or a DNA test. It just comes off as disrespect to the woman, bro. It's an impossible question.
That's why you asked her before you love her.
Well, see, even then, like that shit might change. You know,
I don't think so.
Like that's why you ask her in like the talking stage what you feel about a prenup.
I don't think so because women are so concerned about the prenup. But if you're married to him and he's successful enough to have a prenup, I mean, keep the longevity. You'll have the money that you got in the marriage. You don't even need the stuff from before. If your goal is to be a gold digger, or if your goal is I need to have something since I'm married, okay, you have stuff in the middle of the marriage. I mean, in the marriage.
Mika, in a perfect world, like using common sense, it sounds like a logical thing. But while you planning a wedding, then you bring up a prenup, while she going hard looking for all these decorations and shit, that shit ain't gonna come over.
You can but that's what I'm saying. You can bring up the prenup. If the man is wealthy, I'm going to get his money while we're married.
Yeah, it's still a.
Well, it depends on what the prenup says.
No, because in the marriage, it's the money together. So whatever he makes in the marriage, you're always quote unquote entitled to something.
Yeah, but some women are just going in.
But if I'm trying to get everything from before, then that ought to tell you that's purely that ought to be a red flag for the man. Because now I want money. I want access to money.
The money that you
I'm not even. I haven't even cooked
you didn't put in
a grilled cheese for.
Well, what about when they hit you with that? Well, I'm used to this lifestyle shit.
How you used to a lifestyle that you hold on? You talking about when you get married?
Yeah, because that's what they are.
Okay, but that's the money in the marriage. That's what I'm saying. Most women are concerned about the money before the marriage. That's what the prenup is for. The stuff that was before the nuptials.
I don't know. It's a difficult conversation, and I think 80% of the marriages don't have that conversation, bro.
I don't think what warrants it. Do you think broke people should get prenups?
Hell yeah. I think
if you don't plan to stay broke, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm just saying you can tell the trajectory of what you're dealing with. We about to have struggle love until we not type of shit. Do them people need prenups?
Even so, I don't want you taking my Xbox or maybe my puppy.
Not even. I just think overall, half of half is a lot, nigga. You take half of my fucking 40K, that's a lot of fucking money type shit.
Yeah, but they'll take.
You said your 40K.
His 401K.
No, I didn't say 401K. I said my 40K. But yes, if
40K in Oklahoma,
nigga,
I'm probably go a long way.
I would be gutted.
Yeah. It ain't. Anton gonna tell you to talk smooth to the bit. That's what he told us last time. But that shit ain't gonna work, man. That shit ain't gonna work.
I don't think people should have a problem with that.
How he gonna tell me I'm gonna tell you talk smooth to her?
Because that's what you told her last time we had a topic like this.
What?
Yes. I
was
telling you that asking a female for a prenup is down there impossible without some emotional consequences coming behind it.
I don't think so. You just establish it up front.
But I already
Quentin said it.
If
all you gotta do is, kind of set the expectation. This is how I move. People know who you are. The problem is that people try to spring it on people at the last minute. And it almost seemed like a finesse. Everybody know that if you come around me, then you're probably gonna have to sign an NDA. That's not negotiable. That is something that is standard when you hanging around me. And it's not even for my protection all the time. It could be for the protection of people that may hang around me or it may even be for your protection.
Plausible deniability.
Yeah, but the point is that that's standard. That's not something that's not even something that's negotiable, right? So if you set the precedent early, how you start off is that's how you continue. And if she chooses to still be rocking with you, then she already know what the expectation is. It's not a surprise when you start to get, you know what I'm saying, when you get in front of her.
I don't know. I feel like if I would have asked my wife for a prenup, she'll start hiding snacks around the house and shit. Like to try to like to even the scope. Like it'll definitely change the dynamics of a relationship.
What would a prenup look like for like maybe the man makes 80 and the woman makes 40? Like what would that look like?
She's still walking away.
I don't think that it has anything to do with how much y'all make. It has everything to do with.
Well, that's what it looks like for the duration of your marriage, because that's like normal people. Like we're talking about rich people. Let's just talk about.
I don't think that that's what it is. Like, let's say for example, all right, let me show you how it works. First of all, one of the reasons why other cultures don't have a problem with discussing this is because it's already standard within those cultures that you already are supposed to have a prenuptial agreement, which is not just to protect the man or whatever. It's to also ensure that the chick, because in a prenuptial agreement, you can say, hey, if we wind up having kids or we together for this long, then you'll get this amount of money standard or whatever, so on and so forth. But let's just say for normal everyday people that he already has a home that he has significant amount of equity into, right? Well, he may want to protect that if the marriage dissolves. Yeah. Now, whatever it is that you acquire while you guys are married, right? Let's say that you make some improvements which significantly increase the equity in the house more than whatever it was that it was appraised of when you first came into it. Well, then that's something that y'all would have to debate over in divorce court. But prenuptial agreements is not a bad thing. So if you explain it that way and say, hey, it just makes whatever process easier to make sure that you understand what this is and I understand what this is, and so stuff don't get messy, so we can spend more of our time focusing on each other instead of focusing on all of this nonsense and what if. I think that makes for a much better conversation than to act like, oh man, I don't want you to get nothing. What about you not getting nothing?
But that's what I said, Anton. I said that's why I don't understand why women focus on that. Why don't you just focus on what you're gonna? If your focus is things, why don't you just focus on what you can get in the marriage? Why are you so focused on what he has before?
See,
you haven't even put any skin in the game, so you don't even have an argument.
What Anton is forgetting about is the woman, like, as y'all go through the divorce, now that woman is pissed off. She don't want my Xbox, but she don't want me to have it.
But is this with the prenup or without? Like what are you saying?
With the prenup.
Well,
so
she can't.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, she's still for to go through and just wreak hell. Like,
but you can't. You like if you have a prenup like that, you can't. What are you saying?
Okay.
Well, I think the lady on the video was saying that part of the reason she wouldn't want to do it is because she felt like she was planning for the marriage demise.
That's what a lot of people like. What is karma? Like, what does that even mean?
Well, I don't even feel like that makes sense. I mean, people say you should have 6 months worth of money for your bills and everything. Are you planning to get fired? Are you planning,
That's true.
It just makes sense to plan, period.
That you never
she was just making an excuse.
Yeah.
Like really at the end of the day, she was just making an excuse.
I agree.
She just didn't want to sign it. She did.
Yeah, she want to be entitled to stuff.
The thing that I didn't understand why he would marry her anyway, that long ass face she had.
You know what?
But I think I saw this happen like to one of my friends. She left my homie and thought that she was gonna get half of his retirement plan, but most of the money that he made of his retirement plan was before her, so she didn't get shit.
I used to think like how she was speaking. When I first learned about prenups, I mean, this was before I was old enough to think about marriage too, by the way. That was kind of like, what you saying?
I sold 2K to play the Sonic rings. I'm sorry.
Oh, Molly. that was my thing. It was kind of like, why would you need it? Because to me, that felt like you were preparing for just in case it doesn't work out, or you don't trust the type of person that I am. Now that I'm older, obviously, one, understanding what the prenup really is, and then two, I get it. To Anton's point, this is likely something that is a part of what you have determined for yourself before you even meet another person. So just as much as I might look at it like, why would you need it? You could be looking at it like, what's the problem with me having it if I don't? Like, this is how I am. So I'm not in that space anymore, especially since, Mika, to your point, whatever we create together, that's ours. So, and if I'm really that type of person, then really it shouldn't matter to me if we have that prenup or not, because I'm not trying to come after you if we get a divorce or whatever. Then in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter if it's not personal towards me? It's not him saying he doesn't, trust me as a person, my character, blah, 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 blah. Then what's the big deal? Especially now, people, they do get divorced. It happens. So I could live in the clouds or just be more realistic about it. So
why don't women suggest prenups?
I don't think that they don't. I think that people who want to protect what they had in place before joining with someone else, whether it's a lot or a little, like it could very well be that your parents left you a house and you want to make sure that
they're not entitled to that in a divorce. If it comes before the marriage, they're not entitled to it.
Well, it depends on how you have things set up.
No, nigga. Anything? Okay, continue.
Anything what?
No,
Anything?
I'm listening.
I mean, but you can also dictate the way things go in a marriage. Like, okay, well, if you cheat, then I get this, or if I cheat, you get that. Like,
why they gotta cheat? Like, why is it the
I'm
cheat?
just saying that's just something you can add in, just different clauses and things that you can put into these agreements. So it's not a bad thing.
Listen, so I hate that because you saying if I cheat, then you get to get this. Well, why not just let me pay a penalty then? If you don't cook,
you will be paying a penalty.
Hold on, wait. So if you don't cook in the relationship, why can I give you a $200 fine?
Put it in the prenup.
No. I don't get how me doing something equals to a financial gain for you. Like,
well,
if
you have
it's
to come to that agreement. So I mean, she
that's
can't just come up with this on her own. You would have to sign it as well. So this is something that you both agree on. Throw something in there about her cooking.
So how much is a cheat worth?
What the fuck? 2K.
No. I'm interested. How much is
a cheat worth?
I'm talking about one night out on
one cheat or two cheats, nigga.
One cheat. What's the value? Blue Book. You don't have a fucking answer. So how dare I give you a fucking car or a house or half of my shit because I bust a nut? What the fuck wrong with you?
If that's what you agree to, then what would you be upset about?
I think I hear
what the parameters are that you're supposed to be.
I'm upset about the audacity. I was busting nuts before you came.
Okay.
So when you just be in an open marriage?
Huh?
When you just be in an open marriage?
What you mean?
But
you see
if cheating isn't like has no consequences, wouldn't that be just an open marriage? So
your consequence is me losing you. That's supposed to be the consequence. How is me losing my favorite car a consequence of me cheating?
Yeah, that's true.
And on top of that too, a lot of
behind it. Or else y'all might as well just be in like a polyamorous or whatever you call it relationship.
So maybe
unless y'all are getting married for a business,
a
lot of people still see marriage as sacred and they do believe that adultery is wrong.
So when you become over,
if you violate that and that's the terms of y'all marriage.
But what happens when? But what happens?
Why wouldn't she be able to take it all? I don't
Okay,
understand.
Molly, it's only a marriage when y'all win it. If I say at Molly, I want you at 130. If you are anything over 130, I'm gonna charge you tariffs on every pound.
That's some people have relationships set up like that.
It
And if
doesn't
that's
just
what
have to
they
be
agree to,
cheating.
then I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Put
It'd
that
be
in
one thing if
a
they
prenup.
agree
I
to,
heard
but
that.
Women can
I
put
think.
in stuff too. The man can't gain over such and such amount of pounds. Like a woman has the right to do that too. So
Oh man.
Yeah, but I rarely see whether it's a prenup or not. I rarely see like those stipulations on women. It's mostly on men,
Yeah.
right? Because women will get into a lot of these marriages and things like that, and then they don't want to have sex no more.
Facts.
And now I still got to
I
pay the
think that's a little
bills,
bit different than
but
just
no,
like
it's a lot.
cheating that cheat though.
It's a lot of dudes that don't sleep with their wives.
Yeah.
Well, it's not, like don't feel
Yeah, and I
obligated to
understand
like
that, but
nigga.
I'm like, if y'all are in a relationship and she's doing everything right and you're stepping out, I
But that's
understand
not
some men
normally
don't
that's not
get.
the case though. Because just like you know how you can do the stats on marriage and all that, a lot of dudes don't have sex and they don't complain, they don't say anything.
And I
64%
think that they should
reciprocal
complain and
tariffs.
probably initiate something.
64% reciprocal tariffs. Listen, she got the fuck.
Because y'all don't complain and then y'all blame women for why
Why do I have to
y'all are so
complain about
miserable, but
Okay,
y'all
something?
don't
but this is
voice
the thing though.
anything.
You would
So
complain,
y'all get walked over.
but this is the thing
No,
though, Molly. You would complain, right? Not you personally, but as a woman, you would complain if he
We get
just
walked over and we deal
quietly
with it.
stopped
Molly.
paying the bills,
yeah.
right?
We don't like the bitch. We
Because
like
you
to deal
know
with shit
that's his duty.
Molly.
Your duty, how come you get to stop?
Everything.
And then if he says, "Oh, well, she doesn't have sex and she doesn't do this." The first thing I usually hear women say is, "Oh, I don't have to have sex with you." Then what are you here for?
Molly, Mika, let me
You know
say
what I'm saying?
something.
Like he has to hold up his end and you don't have to hold up yours.
Everything a woman do in the
Most
marriage,
times they complain over finances though, not sex. And I know a lot of men and I know a lot of women who if
I
if
rarely
they're not
hear men
sleeping with their
complain
man
about
and they
finance.
don't care what he's doing,
no,
I
obviously
know a
they
lot of
don't like
women
him.
that do, but a lot of men don't complain
everything
over
that a
finance.
woman do in a marriage is optional. Everything that a man do in marriage is mandatory.
No, that's not true because there are women that give 100% into their marriage and
There
they get
are.
dogged out. So I don't know why it's always a gender war. Men are
No, no,
like,
no.
it starts to get annoying after a minute because
The reason why I even said any of that is because a lot of the times when we talk about like prenups and stuff, it's still geared towards one way. And a lot of the times these conversations never even come up to like where it's a cohesive all around conversation.
then I
Like
feel like
what
that's their fault for not discussing certain things before they got married.
Well,
People
a
have to
lot of
take
that is
personal
because the woman.
accountability, and you can't just say, "Oh, it's because women typically, statistically, do this." It's like it's personal accountability at the end of the day.
It is, but a lot of the times the women don't date down financially. So then it's not a conversation to be had. So if this millionaire is getting with this lady who earns 30,000 a year, like what is he getting from her?
Is your
That doesn't
personal?
guarantee that he's gonna want to do a prenup, though, just
No,
because
no, Molly.
I don't think every wealthy man has a prenup just because he's wealthy.
Molly, it's your personal responsibility to do the right thing and not pursue his assets. Now, are you going to do that? No, you gonna look
Pursue
out for
his.
Molly. You gonna look out for Molly and you gonna take that nigga for every fucking thing. Speaking of
Well,
personal
I think it would depend
responsibility,
on what they were going through in their marriage. Like, if
it
you're
don't
not in
matter.
somebody's marriage to know what they're going through, I don't think that it's okay just to say she's wrong for taking something because you don't know what went on behind those walls.
Molly,
So,
it don't matter. Like I don't think. Look, you dealt with 20 niggas before me. You had 20 boyfriends. They got to leave your motherfucking ass scotch free because I wanted to make you an honest woman and put a ring on your finger. And now I find out like these 20 niggas, you ain't shit. Why do I got to pay for it?
and
You
say
got.
that last part again.
Why would I have to pay for something? And you had 20 different situations like mine's before, and they got out scotch free.
You know what? In all,
Well, why do y'all compare each other to everybody and don't understand that every situation is completely
How are you moving the
its
goal?
own situation? I'm not. I know we're generalizing, but sometimes like prenups and marriages, people don't get married for one solid reason. There's so many different reasons. So
Yeah.
I just feel like placing the blame on a woman for not wanting a prenup. There are some men that don't
But
want
generally,
prenups.
what do people get married for? Generally,
Love.
I appreciate that.
They're not getting married for money if that's one of the leading causes of divorce. It's obviously love.
I agree.
But how can you say that when they
Because
get
they're divorcing over finances. If finances was what they were getting married
okay? But
for,
why
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 would they be
the same-
divorcing over finances?
why the reason why they got married can't keep them together? You said they with
Some
each
people do
other.
stay together though.
Okay.
And even the people that divorce, a lot of the times they even remarry. So it's not like it's not like a divorce is the end of the world because a lot of these people are remarrying. So it doesn't even matter. What
Listen,
does it
That's because
matter?
they remarrying because that's because they on the Anton plan
yeah,
I couldn't
where the
imagine.
woman can't
Like
go
I've
nowhere.
seen too many divorces, and that shit fucking hurts. Like
yeah,
that shit's sad as fuck.
in
yeah.
all reality, though,
It's
in
some
all
people who've had
reality,
4 marriages. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't need the prenup if the courts weren't so corrupt. You probably wouldn't even need the prenup, like for real,
I mean, it's
because
just
you're
a
protecting yourself.
contract.
You're really protecting yourself from the courts, not necessarily the people. Because if they was fair, you wouldn't even be worried about it.
I
That's just
think
the
the courts
reality
are
of it.
fair.
I
Even if
think
you
it's
don't have
No,
a
determined
prenup,
by
you
no,
the
can
carrier.
you
no,
know the
because
courts
when you
aren't
get a
fair.
divorce, at least
You know
here,
the
you
courts aren't
still have
fair.
to go through and mark off everything that you're gonna keep or not. Like they still have to know
You
that
know that
type
the
of stuff.
courts aren't fair. Come on now.